My name is Deirdre Paulser. I'm an educator at the School for Learners with Visual Impairment. Currently, I'm teaching the Grade 1 Braille class. The learners have had, the Braille learners need to have good fine motor and perceptual skills, and for them to be able to read and write Braille. So, the Lego Braille bricks is one of the good resource to help the learners to develop the different skills that is needed for them to read and write Braille. And the Lego Braille bricks has also encouraged learners to have fun while learning, and also to interact with their fellow classmates. It has also taught them to be more social while learning, because they communicate with one another, they learn from one another, they interact, and without them knowing, they are learning. One of the activities that I did was to teach my learners the concept of left and right. But before that, I placed 6 Lego Braille bricks. The A, which is the dot 1, and the K, which is dot 1 and 4, I placed in a bowl, and I just wanted the learners to take the bricks out so that they could feel it, which was also to stimulate the tactile, to stimulate them tactilely. They had to take out the bricks, they had to feel where the studs were, and the bottom of the brick, that was also the orientation of the brick. So then they had to place the bricks on the table with the studs facing to the top. I then used gave them a base plate, which they had to use. Then they had to sort the bricks. All the bricks with the 1 dot on it, the A, they had to place on the left of the base plate, and all the bricks with the dot 1 and 4 on, they had to place on the right of the base plate. Reason being that in Braille, we use left and right a lot, especially when we teach them the cell, because dots 1, 2, and 3 will be from the top to the bottom, and dots 4, 5, and 6 will be on the right. So that was my reason for using the base plate and letting them place the bricks in the top, on the top, the first one on the top, the second one on the left in the middle, and the third one at the bottom. And then they had to do the same with the dot 1 and 4. They had to place 1 brick at the top, and then in the middle, and then at the bottom. And then I went on, that was also to teach them the differentiation, so they should feel which bricks only has 1 dot and which brick has 2 dots. Also developing the tactile senses. And then we went on to teach them the positions, which is top, middle, and bottom. And then I gave each learner a bowl, and I placed 4 A, which is dot 1 bricks in it, and 4 B bricks, which is dot 1 and 2 in it. And then they had to make a pattern. They had to use the bricks, and they had to pack the A and the B alternately, but that was without them even knowing the sounds. They just had to feel the dots. And all this is to stimulate and strengthen the so that they could differentiate between the dots, and also it develops pre-reading skills, and it also encourages the learners to move from left to right, which is also a reading skill, and they were also encouraged to use the index fingers, which are our fingers that we use for reading, and also we use on our braillelet when we pack in our braillelet pins. I also, after I taught them a few single sounds, the dots of a few single sounds, I also encouraged them to read the different sounds on the Lego Braille bricks, and then we used the Lego Braille bricks to build 3-letter words. And then I had a little competition in my class to see who could build the most 3-letter words with the sounds that they were taught already, and it encouraged them to think and also to be competitive. And then afterwards, they had to read the words out to me, and we had a very interactive session where they could make sentences with the words, where if somebody had an error, we would discuss it, and then we would ask what other sound he had to